This is Straight Talk Politics. I am Stephen Trotter, the owner of this channel, and this is an episode for Tuesday, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, the 26th of November. Straight Talk Politics, Economic Concerns. Major points of this article. Before we do major points, I'd like to ask you again to please press like where I open up comments, make some comments, keep them on topic. I will personally erase any comments that are off topic or that I find to be offensive to anybody. I set the standard. I own the channel. We are looking for partners who believe the same way we believe, that I believe, and I would like to make this into a media powerhouse before the next 4-year election cycle ends. But anyway, major points of this economic concerns is interest rates are rising. Trump voters who voted for him to get to lower housing costs. If interest rates continue to rise, mortgage interest rates, that's the opposite. That's bad. That's not going to make any voters happy whether they voted for Donald Trump or not. History of tariffs, which everybody should learn in U.S. history class. I went to the United States, to public schools in the United States, in Ohio and downstate New York and Connecticut, and I learned what tariffs are, and I learned how tariffs were when they were raised in 1930. They caused a lot of economic destruction during the Great Depression and very deeply pushed the economy over the edge into the Great Depression, which lasted almost 10 years. Other data points here: Tesla, General Motors, and others have announced layoffs. I did not hear any layoff announcements at all during the campaign. Or maybe they were drowned out. Maybe I didn't notice them, but that's right now that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Mortgage rates have been rising since Donald Trump's election. It's not for no reason, and it's actually contrary to what they should be doing, because the Federal Reserve has now twice lowered interest rates in order to deal with the fact that the economy is slowing down and the labor market pressure, inflationary pressure has gone away. One of the reasons that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris lost this election was basically economic. Back in 2021, they passed a stimulus bill that was not necessary. The economy was already recovered. They put a lot of money in people's pockets. They caused too much classic economics 101. Too much money chasing too few goods. Supply chain issues were all over the place. You couldn't find a new car. You couldn't find a used car. And we had inflation. So the Federal Reserve, which has a target of under 2% inflation, started raising interest rates and raised it on a campaign of almost 2 years straight, and raised it to the highest level it's been at in quite some time. Labor markets gradually loosened up. Inflation gradually slowed down. Inflation dropped below the 3% level. It was in a 2.5% range. And suddenly the Federal Reserve became concerned that there was going to be a recession. So they shot for a soft landing. They in general don't make major rate moves during the election year, but it was too late to save Biden and Harris. So the economy continues to slow down. There are some estimates I saw that the economy is going to, the unemployment may rise to 4.5% next year. If that is the case, and mortgage rates continue to rise, they're at 7% right now, as at the time of this recording, this could cool enthusiasm of Trump's voters who expect the cost of housing to decrease. See, a lot of Trump voters, at least 1-2% of them that gave him the margin of victory. His margin of victory was 1.6% in the popular vote. They believe in magic. They believe that just because he's got elected, that the economy should get better. As a matter of fact, the data points are that the economy has gotten worse since his election, and that's not going to be good. And you just watch his approval rating. His approval rating will be very nice when he goes into office. Then he'll start making noise and chaos and trying to push the law and trying to cross the line and separating families and all kinds of bad PR. And you watch what happens to his approval rating. Okay, on tariffs. A tariff is a tax on imported goods. The Trump campaign convinced people that the goods shipper pays the tariff. That's not true. One of their plans is to raise tariffs on all imported goods to 20%. If I want to buy a Toyota Corolla for $25,000 and the tariff is 20%, that adds $5,000 to the cost of that Toyota. I pay it. As much as people were upset by inflation, a spike in the unemployment rate or a recession will quickly drag down Trump's approval numbers. But remember, very important warning sign here. Walmart and Target have predicted lower retail sales for this season. There's a little mistake in there. Season. Caught me in a typo, guys. All right, I get credit for that typo. But this is a warning sign. Tariffs are passed on to consumers. If you raise the tariff on Chinese goods to 50%, we import hundreds of billions of dollars worth of goods from China. Clothes, electronics, the price of everything will go up. So if Donald Trump raises these tariffs, and he can probably raise most of these tariffs without any legislative approval from the United States Congress, it is going to have a negative impact. Inflation will jump. Also, companies fearing chaos have begun to trim their jobs. I saw layoff announcements. General Motors, 2,000 people, an efficiency move. Tesla, also for efficiency. Several of the retailers. I saw Google. I saw some high-tech people losing their jobs. It's not large numbers yet. Like I said before, as much as people were upset by inflation, a spike in the unemployment rate or a recession will quickly drag down Trump's approval numbers. Remember what Kamala Harris said in the debate. She said, if you raise tariffs the way that Donald Trump has promised to raise tariffs, there will be a recession in 2025. And that is exactly what we're headed for if somebody doesn't hit the brakes on this. There is some Senate opposition to tariffs, but I don't think, in this case, where the power has been given to the president, I don't think the Republicans are going to take away the power from the. They would have to require a bipartisan agreement with the Democrats, and I'm not sure the Democrats want to help out with this issue, because if Donald Trump is intent on driving the economy off a cliff, that will lead to a repeat of 2018, where a wave election happens and the Republicans will be swept out of office in the United States Congress and the United States Senate. And the map is definitely looking favorable in the Senate to the Democrats right now. So we may have only a 2-year window where a Supreme Court nominee who is extreme can get through. So it might be possible to hold out for 2 years and get past the current threat to reproductive freedom and leave the 19th Amendment off the table and not take away women's rights to such things as birth control. And trust me, Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, they'd love to take that down with them on their way out the door. Chaos in Washington, D.C. could cool the economy. If tariffs and chaos trigger a recession, Trump's lame duck status will draw down his political status. Just watch his approval numbers. That's all you got to do. Watch his approval numbers, and you will see what happens. If you like this content, please press like. Where I open up comments, please make comments. I have enough bandwidth to go through and take out the stupid stuff. Trump is landslide. No, I fight facts with facts. I fight incorrect facts or lies or made up stuff with facts. Someone said that Trump won a landslide victory, and John Thune and the rest of the United States Senate should bow to Donald Trump's will. Well, I posted a link on the definition of a landslide, although that is up for intellectual dispute. This vote was not a landslide. Donald Trump did not even get over 50% of the vote. He won the popular vote, but he did not win a majority. He won a plurality. Kind of interesting. Like I said, that doesn't really matter. He will say it's a landslide. He will say it's the best thing. But look at an electoral map from 1972, or look at an electoral map from 1984. Those were landslides. What Trump got in November was not landslide. It was an ugly expression of hate for immigrants. It was an expression of xenophobia. It was a expression of misogyny, but it was not a landslide. And there's no obligation to pass any of Trump's legislation or approve any of his nominees. If he sends you a nutcase to the United States Senate, vote him down. Vote her down. There's no landslide. That didn't happen. The only place there was a landslide was inside Donald Trump's head. What do you expect? Subscribe, like, notify. I'm going to put out content every business day if I can.